I build things to last, carving permanence from impermanence. In my workshop, the scent of cedar and sawdust is my sanctuary, and the grain of the wood tells a story I can trust. I thought the life I was building with Clara was just like one of my projects, a solid oak table meant to endure for generations. But after 7 years, she told me the foundation was cracked. She said a deep sadness had taken root in her soul, that our life together felt too confining, and she needed space to breathe, to be alone, to figure herself out. It was a story I believed, a narrative of pain I wanted to help her rewrite. Just a week after we separated, she called me, crying, saying maybe it was a mistake, maybe we just needed distance, not a final ending. So we agreed. She would get her own apartment, a little studio for her painting and her thoughts, and I would stay in our house. We would date each other again, rediscover the spark. I was her rock, her patient craftsman, willing to wait while she repaired herself. For 3 months, I held on to that hope. She would come over and it would be like old times, her head on my chest as we watched movies, her hand finding mine as we walked through the park. She was loving, attentive, everything I missed. I thought the distance was working. The truth came to me not in a whisper, but like a sledgehammer. A local art gallery owner, a man named Marcus, commissioned me to build a set of custom floating shelves for his new office. During our final meeting to go over the plans, he was beaming. He spoke about how business was booming and how his personal life had never been better. He pulled out his phone, his face lit with pride. He wanted to show me a picture of his brilliant new girlfriend, an incredible painter he'd been seeing for the last 4 months. It was Clara, my Clara. Standing next to him at a wine festival, her arm looped through his, her smile wider and more genuine than any I had seen in years. 4 months, the math hit me like a physical blow. She had started seeing him before she even told me she was depressed. Our whole arrangement, my patience, my hope, it was all a lie. I was not her rock, I was her safety net, the comfortable backup plan in case her new venture failed. I finished the shelves for Marcus. Each screw I drove a nail in the coffin of the man I used to be. The hurt curdled into something cold and hard and sharp. I played along, texting Clara, telling her how much I missed her, how I couldn't wait to see her. And then the perfect opportunity fell right into my lap. Marcus, so pleased with my work, hired me again. This time, it was to build a series of elegant, minimalist pedestals for an upcoming exhibition. It was a solo show for a promising new artist he was championing. The artist, of course, was Clara. The night of her big opening arrived. The gallery was packed with the city's art scene, all sipping champagne and admiring her work. Clara, dressed in a stunning black dress, floated through the room, the star of the show. She saw me walk in and her face lit up with a relieved smile, thinking I was there for support. She came over and squeezed my hand, whispering, "I am so glad you are here." I just smiled back and told her I would not have missed it for the world. I waited until Marcus tapped a glass for silence, calling everyone's attention for a speech to introduce the artist of the hour. As Clara stepped up to the microphone, blushing and preparing to speak, I calmly walked to her centerpiece painting, the largest and most expensive one in the room. From under my jacket, I produced one final piece of my own woodwork. It was a small, exquisitely carved plaque of dark walnut with gleaming brass letters. It was designed to look like an official gallery title card. I placed it on the pedestal right next to her painting for everyone to see. The inscription was simple, elegant, and devastating. It read, "My dearest Clara, may your success be as real as the love you pretended to have for me these last 3 months. With deepest sympathy, your roommate and backup plan." I did not need to stay to see the fallout. The quiet gasps that rippled through the crowd were enough. As I walked out the door, leaving her world to burn down around her, I felt the cool night air on my face and breathed in freedom for the first time in months. The most satisfying part, however, came a week later. A check arrived in the mail from Marcus. It was for the pedestals, but he had paid me double. Tucked into the envelope was a simple business card. On the back, he had written just 2 words, "Thank you."